The age of social media, all it takes nowadays to spark up an online fight is to merely have an opinion. One opinion will cause many to spiral into a pit hole of anger where no one dialogues, only insults the person who has the unpopular or even the popular opinion regarding the latest trends in comic books, movies, or pulp culture. It makes sense given the circumstance. After all, acting tough behind the protective wall of the black mirror we all own and use on a daily basis makes it easy for anyone to jump right into a tirade of insults and threats. Again, just for having an opinion that they may disagree with. I decided to go against that notion. I've decided to start a video series where we discuss the hot topic issues within the comic book industry and pulp culture and provide you with another perspective. One of logic, reason, with just plain old dialogue between two people who have different opinions. My co-host and I will discuss the pop culture topics at hand in a fun, engaging, and respectable manner. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Julius Freeman, and with me, as always, is the one and only
Kyle.
I'm going to try to come up with new intros every week just to see how far I can take them.
Yeah, I know, and it's surprising every single time because, again, we spend a lot of money on this show.
A lot. Top dollar on this production.
Top dollar. No spare, no expense.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, tonight's show is a special one because we do have guests on. We want to get right into it. Our second guest is not here yet, but hopefully he will join us soon. I'm sure he's doing things and he's busy and he'll eventually will join us. But for now, I would like to introduce you to our first guest. He is the writer and creator of Girl with the Mega Fist, which is doing pretty well, actually. I think this is like his fourth or fifth book, if I remember. I don't know, right? I think fourth or fifth. Well, he'll let us know.
Looking at me, I don't know.
I know. He'll let us know. He'll let us know in a minute. Please welcome Tyler from Draw and Talk. Tyler, welcome to the show.
What's up? Oh, I'm sorry.
We're all like dancing and fun.
I know.
Vogue.
I'll go. I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, raise the roof,
Boom. Yeah, what's up, guys?
That's what it was. That's what you were trying to go for.
Yeah, I was trying to get those strobe lights, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Again, high.
My lights made me look stupid.
No. This is a high production budget show.
Yes.
You gotta remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There he is. Okay, so second guest, since he's here, let's just again right into it. He is a friend of the show. He's been with us twice. The first time around, we reviewed his book Star Noir, and the second time around, we interviewed him to find out exactly who he was, the man behind the Twitter account. Welcome back, Mr. Tony James. Tony James, welcome.
What's up? What's going on?
Hey.
Oh, man, how you doing? How was both of you guys' week?
It was great. Before we kick off all of this stuff, I wanted to briefly show you some of my own CGC stuff because Kyle always has the CGC stuff.
Okay. Cool.
And you want to start bragging a bit?
Yeah. So last time I was on the show, I was talking about Spawn comics that I'd saved since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I want to show you.
Nice.
Ooh, 9.2. Nice, dude. Nice.
Now, is this the one that you have specifically, like you grew up with, or?
Yeah. It's the ones that I literally just like went to a comic shop, picked it up. I was way too young to be looking at that violent imagery.
Yeah.
And no matter where I went, whether I went to college or whatever, they would like the long box just came with me.
Nice, dude. Nice.
It was the 90s though, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. I'm hoping to crack it open one day and get it signed by Todd. But you know,
That'd be cool.
you know how stringent the CGC process is for getting signatures.
Dude, it's too much for me, in my opinion.
Expensive.
Love it.
But it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game of comics and collecting comics. So let's get right into it. A little bit of a backstory here. Tony here tweeted out about, was it 2023? Was it?
Was it really that long ago?
I think it was that long ago. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Memories.
Yeah.
Memories.
I was so young back then.
Yeah, here we go. It was 2023, which kind of kick-started this whole no pun intended.
That was good.
This whole thing here. So Tony wrote, picture this. Alan Moore is a young writer today. From Hell goes live on Kickstarter. He wouldn't be a project we love, quotes. His campaigns would raise less than 5K. Great storytelling is woefully overlooked and underfunded in the crowdfunding era of indie comics. And Tyler here, right underneath
Dude, that's me right there at the bottom.
Responded with, this tweet is a complete misunderstanding of the crowdfunding space and also puts down successful books in that arena. It's got nothing to do with great storytelling being woefully overlooked. Now, there's threads and threads after this, but I didn't want to get into that.
I don't know. There, a lot of them are deleted, Julius.
Oh, okay. Well, whether or not they're deleted, that's fine and all, because everyone has a right to handle their tweet, their Twitter.
Well, I mean, Tyler, his whole world is run by optics, so he thinks that deleting tweets means people will find it automatically nefarious. But as I've come to find out, I mean, you guys are keeping dry folders of this stuff, so I mean, who really cares? Bring it up if you want to.
I don't, but that is Stokes, and that was crazy that night. That was.
Yeah. Now, if anybody could find that stream, talk about deleting stuff, maybe people could go back and look at that.
I'll post it. I just didn't think it looked good for both of you, but I'll post it back up.
I don't think it looks good for you as well, Tyler. I think it's because Tyler wants to have this image of that he doesn't do drama or doesn't facilitate drama, and I think that video, that stream, is very indicative that he very much is in the business of facilitating drama.
I 100% facilitate drama, but you know what? We'll put it live just for you, Tony.
We're all drama stars here. It
doesn't matter at this point. I mean, you could tape it to Stokes' forehead. I don't give a shit.
Hey, we're good. But yeah, no, like I love this this topic about because it's a very common topic of the role that Kickstarter has. Kickstarter and crowdfunding has a massive play in the indie scene. It's wild that you'll talk to some people and you'll go, hey, they'll be like, hey, we really like your book, and I'll go, yeah, you can get it on the web, you can get it on my website, and then they'll go, oh, just tell me when the next Kickstarter is, and that it just seems to be there's a lot of focus in the scene is the next Kickstarter, getting those Kickstarter numbers up, and then fans are like, yeah, I'll just buy it on your next Kickstarter, not coming to your website. And so to me, if Kickstarter is such an important facilitator in indie comics, then I think it's important to understand its role and in its function. So when I hear stuff Kickstarter doesn't give visibility to truly great books, it only does legacy creator books or porn, and it doesn't show great books. Well, one, then it makes you go, okay, what is it Kickstarter's job to showcase certain books? It's an open platform. Is it Kickstarter's job? And if it is Kickstarter's job to say what is a great book, then Kickstarter would have to define what is a great book. And at that point, it becomes very subjective on what it is, because Kickstarter's not reading every single book, is it? And so it's a very nuanced topic that I enjoy getting into.
Tony, you have any counterpoints to that?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I think the big thing that Tyler is very good at straw manning me and taking my words and flipping them into something that they're not, and he thinks that if he creates a big enough fuss, kind of tarnishing my words, that I'll just come out of the cave and stroll right down the Twitter to kind of have a fight with him. But I mean, I think he has learned that I have a very low ceiling for that sort of stuff. But I think the one thing that he is kind of, misinterpreted, especially from the Alan Moore thing, is that I was not saying that anything that was popular wasn't good. I just think that there are a number of creators who do have, objectively great books that adhere to an objective standard of quality, which I was talking about earlier in the week. And despite all of the things that they're supposed to be doing with their mailing lists and kind of building themselves up on the social platforms, giving a big leeway into the campaigns coming, so they're not just trying to find backers on day one. I still think that the Kickstarter platform still focuses primarily on legacy creators and porn books. I know Tyler doesn't like me calling them porn books. Titty manga? Can we call them titty manga? I don't know. Is that more fun?
We can say adult.
Well, no. Like, no, there is a lot of like erotic comics. Like, for example, I'm not shy to say, like, yeah, I'll have like a titty cover on my book. The interiors won't have that for like 99% of my books, but you're right. Like the covers will, but it goes back to then, like, is it Kickstarter's job to facilitate that, to judge like which books they promote?
Well, currently they have the moniker Kickstarter. So if they're trying to shake that and they want to go, no, it's just the best that goes to the top. If they really want that image to stick and not Kickstarter, they're gonna have to spread the visibility ball around a little more than just the beginning of the campaign and the end of the campaign. Because like I said, creators are coming in here. They're not just, I got my good book, flip it on. How come I don't have 10K? No, a lot of creators are doing the groundwork that they should, and it would benefit Kickstarter's image overall if, again, they give a little bit more visibility to the books that are not made by a legacy creator or are not leading with titties. I mean, I was I Star Noir, I ran the best campaign of that series so far on the third book, and I remember going to the popular section, and I was like in the top 10, but everything ahead of me was porn. And I just thought that was like, it was just really indicative of where the focus is. And it's, and algorithms are driven by user analytics. So,
is it the user's fault?
Well, it's not about fault, Tyler. I mean, it's really more about, like, what does this platform want to present themselves as? I mean, if you're just kind of like, let the algorithm decide and then we're just going to take back, well, then they're going to face a lot of the criticisms of being basically an artisanal OnlyFans. And if they want to, push back on that, then they're going to have to step in as a platform and say, how about this book? How about that book? Because, I'm on Kickstarter. There are books that I want to back to, but for some reason, despite me never, reading a titty book or backing a titty book, man, it really wants to keep offering me titty books.
But like to Tyler's point, is that, I mean, that's the reason why Kickstarter pushes that, is because the traffic flow is pretty much there at those theme books. I don't like it as much as you do, but I understand the algorithm is what the algorithm is. It pushes whatever the most traffic is coming in. Now, do you think that Kickstarter should maybe not thwart that, but kind of come up with different, algorithms, or introduce like platforms where maybe they look at books that are not really looked at, but they deserve a spotlight? Do you think they should go and do that for any books that may be great, right? Like, they have a great pitch, the artwork is fantastic, the premise is great. Should they go out of their way to go, okay, you know what? This is not getting a lot of traffic. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna push this to the front for the day, so that way more eyes can go on there. You think they should do more of that?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I think for a bit there, Project We Love was the thing where it was just like, hey, this book's not getting visibility. It gets our seal of approval, so it'll get pushed up. Most books are, JD. But it's like, you look at like Instagram, and my For You feed is very much tailored to my interests, and yet I go on Kickstarter and it's never been tailored to my interests. And it just points to a flaw in the algorithm. And listen, I knock the legacy creator books and the titty books, for getting all that money, but at the end of the day, I'm not mad at Kickstarter as a business, because they're generating a lot of traffic. They're getting a lot of money from these books. I just, as a creator, feel like I would like to critique Kickstarter and suggest that if you are an Alan Moore, very serious creator, you study your craft, you understand the fundamentals, and you bring a book that is not flashy in the same way that you would see a titty book, that there's a bigger chance of you going under the radar. And I think, again, still using your mailing list, still building yourselves up, still giving leeway into the campaign, all the things you're supposed to be doing, I think even then Kickstarter could benefit from showcasing those books at least more than just the beginning of the campaign and the end of the campaign.
Now, do you feel like it's only Kickstarter that you're seeing this, or the other crowdfunding sites as well?
Well, as somebody who's been on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I mean, Kickstarter is the only one with any sort of a organic marketplace. Indiegogo has really failed indie comics, like 100%. I mean, it didn't have an organic marketplace to begin with, but then it just kind of became like, hey, a specific group dominates this platform, and if you would like some visibility, you got to sort of pledge allegiance to said group, and that's how you get your books seen. And it just, I mean, and at the same time, like Indiegogo is more of like, you know, when you want to go crowdfund something, that's more for tech products. Like that's kind of the shining beacon of Indiegogo. That, and it's like for Kickstarter, I would go board games and then comics. But Indiegogo just does not have that kind of organic marketplace that Kickstarter does.
Yeah, because me as an outsider, like I don't really go on a lot of Kickstarter or, you know, all these different ones. Like whenever books are recommended to me, it's like, yeah, I'll go there to go and see those certain books. But as a whole, I see them all as like the same sort of thing. Like, so it's funny that, you know, hearing that the Kickstarter specifically, pushes all of this stuff.
Well, they've got an
comment. Sorry, Tyler, I'll let you finish. Can you bring up JD's comment? The last thing that JD said there.
Tony's right though that like Kickstarter does have an organic. It's the only crowdfund that has it.
It's like but JD, you're not listening to me. I said on top of all of the things that they need to do to market their work. I'm not saying a creator just flips it on and Kickstarter gives them 10K. I'm just saying in the process of everything else that they're doing, Kickstarter could be doing its part as the small cog in the big production that they're doing, just to be a little bit more, you know, productive in their role.
Well, so that brings up this point then, like, okay, so let's say they want to be productive. That means that the people who are in charge would be the ones who decide, okay, this is the book that we're going to highlight, of which it's subjective. It's up to those. There's no rubric. It's up to the opinions of this made up Kickstarter committee to say, okay, we're going to put out this book. This book needs more spotlight. And I think that causes a problem in itself, because then people are like, oh, how do I get in the good graces of these individuals? Whereas if you have an algorithm, Kickstarter ultimately wants to make money. They see this project that has $100,000. They're going to show you the $100,000 project because the algorithm says, hey, more people like this, you should go check this out.
But that speaks to my point about the Alan Moore From Hell book. Like this is why art is in such this malaise blah state that it's currently in, because if you are somebody who is able to generate a lot of money from your big platform, it doesn't matter what the book is. I mean, tomorrow, Logan Paul can be like, I want to do like a shitty wrestling comic. Never cared about comics, never wrote a comic. It's not even a good read. It's not even drawn very well. Image is going to pick it up. Kickstarter is going to give it a project we love. And I just think that if we're trying to champion truly great creators, they're going to need a little bit of help with the visibility department, and on top of all of their marketing that they're doing by themselves.
Now, I'll add to that. See, at that point, now I'm not opposed to anyone jumping the gun and making the comic book. Great. You know, they could be the crappiest writer, but if your heart is on it, then go for it. However, I think to your point, Tony, about Kickstarter doing a bit more for that, I think honestly, if in order to, I guess, elevate indie comics, it's slightly responsible upon us, the indie creators ourselves, to see, like, for instance, like your book, you know, I liked it, so I retweeted it. I always put it out saying, hey, check out this guy's book, it's really good. You know, I think it's going to have to be not so much on the crowdfunding platforms to push that. It's going to be people like me and you and Tyler and Kyle going on social media, and even though our reach may not be large, it's at least something that we can do to support each other. So in a way,
And and while that's great, I appreciate that. I do that for books that I see as well. I think the risk of that is that it will become very insular. I think the problem with indie comics Twitter is that you're talking to largely other creators. And if you're trying to be successful in comics, you have to find strangers, people outside of this Twitter bubble, because I mean, that's the way you're only going to stay in business.
How does one do that?
I mean, well, first of all, I just proved it. Like a compelling story that's not good, it's fuck you good. That will generate people. I mean, there are people who are like telling me this is the first time I've ever did a crowdfunding thing. This was the first time I made it a Kickstarter account just to back this. I don't even like Kickstarter books, and I backed this. There was a guy at the barbershop who was just like, this is the first comic I ever read, but I wanted to read this one. So I think there's merit in your artistic vision and trying to make something that is the best that it can be.
I have a question. How did those people find out about your book?
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of Reddit stuff. Reddit's really, really helpful.
Okay, Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit is kind of like the first kind of social media kind of platform to step away from Twitter. In terms of like, hey, I'd like to find somebody like that's not a creator, because it's just full of niche subreddits. So,
okay.
yeah, so there was one that was called the Last Podcast on the Left. That has a Reddit there. It was actually recommended to me from a different Reddit, like, hey, this book is good. This group would probably like it. And then from that, one of my barbers is part of that Reddit.
Wow, interesting. Okay,
yeah.
I had no idea that Reddit was such a place to be.
It's just one of those things where like the internet is like massive, but also it's really small at the same time.
Amazing.
It's like going to a comic book convention and seeing somebody like say, and then you're like,
and what was funny about the last podcast on the left, it was like a couple years ago at New York Comic Con. I saw that booth and I was just like, oh, hey, you guys have liked it on here. Here's the comic that's coming out or whatever. And they instantly recognized it and they were like, holy shit, this is the book that we keep talking about.
Nice.
I know I think that's it too. It's like just word of mouth of it. I mean, like in continuing with Alan Moore's stuff, I mean, thinking about when he was put on Swamp Thing, like Swamp Thing was like very low in terms of not viewers, but readers. And then as it progressed, word of mouth obviously spread, because then the book picked up more and more and more. And then it became like a top selling book and nobody would have expected it. And it was because Alan Moore was writing it and everybody loved him.
Word of mouth is the best like marketing strategy. It's the hardest one to like hone in on, but like, you know, where do we find the strangers? I mean, you should, like the way, like we live in a time where you can go online and create a YouTube channel, a Twitter, what we're doing right now.
Right.
And you can create content that gets these strangers in. You can do paid advertising. I've done Twitter ads. I've tried some Facebook ads. I know Tony's done Gel Up for his stuff. You can do paid advertising. I know that I see a lot of people doing paid advertising as well. Like there are so many strategies that one can use to bring the strangers in, and it doesn't have to be the platform. Like the platform isn't like ultimately, like if you fail, it's not that Kickstarter is the fault. Like it will always come back to the creator. And it doesn't mean your book is good or sorry, it doesn't mean that your book isn't good. It just means that we live in a day and age where like there's a ton of other barriers that you're going to have to hit. Like good isn't like enough. It also has to be visible and known.
Right. Yeah.
And Kickstarter can help by doing a little bit more on top of everything else with your mailing list and you're building yourself up on social media.
But they gave you the platform.
Oh my God. You guys are the first persons to you guys love this rented land argument. And then when your book doesn't perform well, you just like, you point fingers at everything else. And it's just like, it could help. It could help. If your thing misses the goal by 1,000 or 2,000, just of 3 days of actual genuine visibility at the top is going to fix that.
But who decides that?
The people, by seeing it. See, it's this you've just said it. The problem is not if the book is good. The problem is visibility. Okay, like before when I did Star Noir book 1, I did the first one. Okay, the number one thing that people wanted to critique me on Twitter was like, your price point's too high. Nobody wants to buy that. And I'm sitting there going like, are you out of your mind? Eric July just fucked up the whole curve by like overpricing his books. So like I can at least charge $5 to $10 more. I just have to find the group that is into that. And by God, there are people out there who are willing to spend extra on quality. As I made this analogy a few streams back on Julius's stream, is that there are people who want the cheap pizza that's right downstairs, but there are an equal number of people who don't mind going a few blocks away to buy the better pizza that might cost a few more dollars because it's worth it to them.
No, 100%. No, 100%. But once again, though, like it's like Kickstarter has provided the platform. It's provided you an algorithm. It's provided you some organic people, like built-in people. It's provided you all of these things. And it's like now we're also saying it needs to do extra. It has to go, okay, this project needs more. So we're gonna help it. But it also has to be under these standards of like it has to look like this. Like that's where
I
it doesn't
don't
work.
understand what's wrong with having like a standard of quality that is achievable, but that is achievable by most people. I mean, Tyler, it really just seems like you really want to defend the status quo because you are one of those books that stands to benefit from the current state of the algorithm.
No, to do what you're saying, you would have to objectivity in art requires a consensus among a group. It would require a consensus among the group, and then it would require a consensus of the people of Kickstarter saying this is what we view as quality. My book might not be in there. Heck, your book might not be in there. Yeah. It's up to them. It would be up to them in terms of that consent. That's how you get objectivity. The objectivity that you can do right now currently in Kickstarter, because like I said, quality is subjective to the eye. You can look at backer count. That's a way that
the two-sided coin.
The subjectivity of art, quality.
Well, I like to make a point too, to Tyler's point. I mean, think of it like it was funny because we were watching a video the other day of like the Bollywood movies. It's like those movies are like objectively
they're fucking entertaining, man.
They're entertaining, but they're a very specific genre of entertainment. And then you can even put like the Michael Bay movies, Michael Bay explosions and stuff like that. It's like objectively they're just all explosions or something like that. And but they're like people still go and spend millions and they still make billions of dollars and stuff like that because they tailor it specifically to who would would want to watch them, like the Bollywood movies or the people who like just big monster robot fights.
But in all of those cases, the objective quality is good. So if you don't like that particular thing that's made, if you don't like Bollywood films, you can go, all right, it's not for me. But you would be hard pressed to say, yeah, but that doesn't look like it was being thrown together. Like someone actually took time to kind of make that very well. So even if I don't like it, there's still an objective quality. I think
no, because now there's a subjective.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier in the week. And Tyler, I don't know why whatever I say just draws your ire the most. But I was saying that this argument where objective quality is just purely where I was saying quality is not just objective, that art is subjective, because I saw too many creators that I like, and I very much like to see their journey and watch them succeed. But even then they would kind of throw this like, quality is just subjective, and it's just like, but it just becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like where you just kind of go like, this is as good as it could ever be, so who cares? But rather than just kind of keeping yourself honest and understanding that there is an objective standard to hold yourself up to that most people do recognize. I mean, if you're not going to do that, again, it's just self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you're going to make a mediocre book, and saying that quality is subjective is just your shield to protect against any criticism.
Okay, but so like objectively well made, like to objectively well made, we have to agree, like, where are these standards? Where does someone look up, say, what does an objectively well made book like look like? You could say, Tony, it has to have a matte cover, and I could say, no, it has to have a gloss. You could say
that's preference. That's just subjective preference.
you could say okay. So let's talk about what are these objectively well-made parameters that we all have to agree on.
Well, you're saying the whole gloss versus matte, that is just subjective because both of those books are printed with quality. So it being matte versus gloss, that's just personal preference. That is not a metric of quality that we all adhere to.
So what's a metric of object? What's a metric for your?
I mean, you look at everything that's in the mainstream that gets awards, that gets fan art, that gets adapted. The things that they write books about. I mean, these things all have a standard of quality that when you look at them, you go, if I aspire to have those things, adaptations, awards, recognition, all of that stuff, that's the standard of quality that my work needs to be on.
Which is based off of the preferences of these other people.
But it's across generations and eras and countries. No matter where you are, someone's not going to pick up Star Noir and going like, this is garbage. Have the thrown together. Didn't even care.
How do you know that? I mean, that's very confident. But how do you know that?
It's not confident.
Let me hold on. Let me try to answer this because I'll come in the middle ground here for this one.
We need the talking stick.
Yeah. Okay. Look, objectively good, subjectively good. Okay. Subjectively, we all know, we all can agree to subjective is your own personal preference, right?
All right.
Okay. So
Sure.
I'll use an example. There's Dumb and Dumber, the movie Dumb and Dumber, and then there's His Girl Friday. Okay, 2 comedies, 2 movies. They both follow a script, a 3-act structure script, both well written on their own right. However, the preference is one is dick and fart jokes, one is just a fast, witty talking comedy. So, but objectively speaking, they're both well-made movies.
Yeah,
because they both follow the structure of the 3-act structure, character arcs, strong dialogue.
They have a master of the
fundamentals. And in this instance, jokes that landed.
Yeah.
In every scene. So can we agree that objectively that's what an objective good thing is in terms of art?
Yeah, well, what you're describing is a master of fundamentals, no matter what it is that you're making.
And Tyler, can you agree that's a definition of objectively good?
I think you would have to. I mean, it's subjective. It's still subjective, like saying the jokes landed, but we could say there's a higher percentage of people that those jokes landed on. So you know.
But at that point, it would still be subjective. But I'll give you another example. Napoleon Dynamite. Okay.
Yeah.
I hate that movie. That movie.
I love that movie.
For me, that movie was not funny. However, as a writer, coming from a writer's perspective, someone who like you, Tyler, and like you, Tony, we've studied the tools of our trade, right? Of writing stories, storytellers, all that stuff. I can at least recognize that Napoleon Dynamite objectively is still a good movie, even though I don't personally like it, because the acting was still good. I can still recognize that the writing was still good, and I can still recognize the directing was good. However, personally, I didn't find it funny at all. But I could.
So here's the
funny.
thing then. What's the purpose then of art? What's the purpose then of art? Because then that art failed.
Art is expression. It's to express yourself.
I guess what I'm saying is that, like, for me, when I create a book, and when a business creates a book, the book then, a book.
Thank you, Oli. I appreciate your support.
Yeah.
The goal of
real vote of confidence right there.
Yeah.
Like, does a book publisher go, well, at least the book was well written, even though no sales, no one liked it, but at least it hit the fundamentals. I mean, yes, I agree. Fundamentals, super, super important. But the objective of the art is to enact this emotion, to get this result.
But
and
you won't.
No, go for it, Tony.
No, go. Finish your thought. Hold on, Tony. Finish your thought, Tyler. Finish your thought.
And so for me, I agree. Like you can go like Neil Gaiman, Sandman. I think that I hate that series so much. But I can look at it from an objective standpoint of, well, it's got to be I can go, well, it's won a lot of awards, and the guy Neil Gaiman's won. You know, he's he was able to build a career off of this as well and other things. So he must be a good writer. It just didn't go for me.
Right. But can you at least recognize upon reading it? And again, you don't have to like it.
For sure.
Can you at least recognize that it was well written and well structured and well delivered?
Well, I don't know if it's well written. Well, the thing is, I don't know if I can say it's well written, like grammar, spelling, and structure, but it didn't do the result of entertaining me or making me enjoy it.
So Tyler, what you're saying is that subjectively it didn't work for you, but objectively it does work.
Correct. Which brings me then to this Kickstarter thing. With these crowdfunding campaigns, how does Kickstarter in the back end with these projects that might not even have a page created use an objective meter and say we should promote this one in order to give it visibility?
Well, if they can't, well, I mean, because the Project We Love thing, it just is purely subjective. But I mean, you could create categories. You can kind of say, you have to do all of this kind of specific metrics to kind of get books at this certain price point or whatever. But like, high fantasy, what's hot in this? Horror, what's hot in this? Crime, what's hot in this? Like titties, what's hot in this? Like,
but that's got nothing to do with
that. And just doing that alone, I think would solve a large number of the problems. That's probably the main issue that I have with Kickstarter.
They have genres though.
Well, then they need to do a better job of pushing that and strengthening that and making that the flagship component, not something that I have to think through the options to sort through.
Do you get mad then though do you get mad that then your genre though is not the one that's getting visible? Like there's more people doing high fantasy, but not people doing sci-fi noir stuff. And so like someone's got to.
I'm not personally upset. I mean, I told you on JD's stream the first time we met, like you got to be successful in spite of the obstacles. Like
100%. No, 100%. No, but what I'm saying is like, will creators get upset because there's just another reason that ultimately someone's got to make the decision on what is the objective goals that we're going to hit, points that we're going to hit, and then promote and give this comic visibility. Like someone's got to agree to these objective points and then say, okay, these are the comics that hit it. When a lot of these comics on Kickstarter might not even have a page or two of sequential art on there. So like, how do they do that?
But I said the pushing the categories is a bigger catch-all, so that you're not focused on a particular rubric. You're actually just trying to showcase the best of a particular genre.
So like, okay, but like my book, My Super Plumber Sisters, that go into like comedy and like an action comedy genre.
Okay,
sure. But what's that got to do with visibility and like hiding great books? Just like we've sorted the genres out, that doesn't do anything with
because
it doesn't go with the quality or greatness.
Because your book wouldn't be lost under 30 Jimmy Palmiotti books. It'd be a little bit easier to find if I was like, hey, I want a good comedy comic right now, and I get to go there, and rather than having to scroll a bunch of past of titty books and legacy creator. By the way, it's not a dig at Jimmy Palmiotti. It's just picking a legacy creator who's very prolific on that platform. But if you were able to more easily narrow down the search, or if the algorithm was better at recommending stuff that's specific to what you like, then the visibility would be much stronger.
So there you go. Like I can agree to like Tony's point that Kickstarter could do a better job with their categories, where you say comics and then your genre. I think that's a very valid point than just saying like a blanket statement of Kickstarter hides great books. It's like, no, Kickstarter hides certain genre books.
But see, that's the straw man thing that you do. Like I never said Kickstarter hides great books.
In your own words, Kickstarter doesn't give visibility to truly great books.
Where does it say that?
I'm so fucking glad that you said that, because you said it in the stream that I messaged Julius on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that is like that's word for word. Kickstarter doesn't.
All right, bring it on up. Let's crack onto it.
God damn, I've got to like.
Before we do that, I would like to say we did find some common ground. So yay!
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it only took a year and a half for Tyler to agree with me and see my point for what it was.
Well, stop. And the reason why, Tony, is because we're able to like talk, like you coming into my DMs, like and I'm asking you, dude, let's talk, like, because this is a conversation that can't happen on Twitter. it has to like we have to explore. Like it went from this point of like we're wrong to like no, now we're at the genres. Like that's a. I'm glad we had this conversation. I agree with you.
Tyler,
It's
the reason
genres.
why the conversations don't work on Twitter is because you have no integrity. Whatever conversation we have, you use that as content fodder, and then you turn me into a straw man, and you don't even ask me like what my actual opinion is. You run around with these narratives, and then you get your
Here.
friends to just kind of reinforce the lie. And so that's why I don't like to have conversations.
Be better at giving your opinion then.
No, my opinion is fine because there are plenty of creators who see the opinion for the nuance that it is, but people like you and Nikki Moo Moo and Old Man Gibbs and that random pizza guy that the guy likes to
The
eat
name
pizza.
calling, I love it. Very mature. I'm talking about what I'm saying is like
it's funny. No, hold on a second. I think it's really humorous. I think it's very humorous that the person who is the champion of belittling other creators is sitting there acting offended.
I'm not offended. You didn't make a name for me.
You did. That's why you were trying to call it out because you're trying to push this narrative, and I'm not letting you have it.
This narrative that this narrative of like Tony will call people names and stuff. I've got the stream up.
Okay, hold on. All right, let's simmer down a bit.
Let me drink some water, Julius.
Take a deep breath. You know, we're here.
Right.
We're here to the show's called.
Dude, I'm having a great time.
Pressing Color says Tony and Tyler should have a podcast.
Dude, and let me tell you, it would be a great podcast. It would be a great podcast.
Tyler, do you know why that will never happen?
Well, I don't like you, so that's the first. But
that's not the reason why I wouldn't do it. You know why I wouldn't do it?
Why?
Because last year you actively used your entire platform to sabotage Star Noir and me as a creator. Now you failed because you don't have any influence. You failed because you don't have any influence. But somebody has got to stand on principle and say that that's not right.
You did a good job.
No. You made the attempt because when you thought it was working, you and Stokey were giggling like schoolgirls, telling me that I need to come to you to beg for my dollar back. Did you not say that?
I don't remember. It was
of course you don't remember.
Out of context.
That's not out of context.
I remember the gift though. I could use $1 though, Tony. I mean, you're doing
no. You wanted me to beg for the money that you got a couple of creators to refund their pledge. You wanted me to come beg for that.
I don't remember that at all. But
well, I remember it exactly
if you pull up a receipt,
because most creators are very normal, and when a creator acts out of pocket like you don't forget it because most creators are not like you, Tyler. They're normal.
I am definitely
they're normal, reasonable individuals.
I'm definitely I'm so special and I'm so filled with youth, and a lot of people, they just go, man, like that Tyler guy, he is something.
Okay,
Julius, I'll show you. Here's the clip. I think this is the one I commented on. Yeah. All right. You guys can hear this?
No.
No.
You can hear it? No?
I cannot. No.
All right, hold on. It's been a while since I used StreamYards. Let me present again. Share screen, because I forgot you have to hit the share audio thing. Also share tab audio.
Again, high production budget here. While you're getting that set up, remember to like, comment, subscribe on this video. Gotta plug everybody.
And let me just say that I understand there's a lot of
passion.
Well, passion, but also a lot of history here. And so I just like to remind both of you that I would like somewhat of a civil conversation. Because I would like to, I want to, because both of you have good points to what you guys stand on. Not completely, I don't agree 100% completely, but you guys still have good points, and I would like to keep it at least somewhat civil. Now, again, I can't control you guys. You guys are your own person, so I just want, for the respect of the show, let's try to simmer down.
And this. And
let's see if this works.
I'll have fun here.
The thought experiment is more of a critique about Kickstarter not giving visibility to like just truly great books.
Word for word.
Okay, I mean, but Tony, you're muted. You're muted, Tony.
Okay, so this is the this is the thing that people like Tyler like to do. They want to live in these 20-second, 10-second bubbles and go, well, that's what it is. Because
I'll add another 30 seconds. Like, I
well,
just
nothing
wanna keep
happens in a
listening.
vacuum, my friend. And
Okay.
I'll address exactly what you said here. But
Well,
it's
I mean,
what Tyler? What the thing that prevents you from understanding my opinions that other creators have no trouble with is recognizing the nuance of what I say. You force everything into this binary paradigm where it's either option A or option B, and that's just not life. That's
I just want
not
you to
critique.
explain your points a little better. So
I
when
did. I have been explaining my points to you, Tyler, specifically for you, because you're the one that comes to these streams and you say, hey, I'd like to talk to Tony about this thing. Everyone else gets it. If it was unanimous, if everybody was as confused as you, Tyler, I would reformat everything, relook at everything. But
I'm not
people
confused, Tony. I get what you're saying. I just want you to explain it better.
You are confused because you
want you to
keep
explain it better.
asking me to elaborate and elaborate and elaborate, and I have to constantly remind you that your confusion is ultimately in the minority.
Okay, but Tony, you did just say, and if I play the next set, so you said Kickstarter doesn't give visibility to truly great books.
You know,
Right.
because
Right.
that algorithm feeds you legacy creators and porn before it'll show you like a From Hell that you're like, whoa, this is just a great idea.
So like that's the point where like explain it. Explain what a great book is. Explain what you want Kickstarter to do. Explain lay it out. If you're gonna make a point that says that Kickstarter doesn't give visibility to truly great books, then you have people. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have people who go, I think that my book is truly great, but you're saying that I don't fit that mold. So you've got that. But then you're saying that, oh, well, everyone understood it. Clearly not, because you had enough people to go, Tony, what are you talking about?
You're
What
the
do- like,
only
what do you-
one saying that. You're the
Tony,
only one. I don't
Kickstarter
know,
doesn't
I don't
give
know how else-
visibility
I
to
don't
truly
know how
great
else to
books. What does that mean? Like
Tyler,
that's like
I
that.
don't know how I don't know how else to further explain this to you. You were very confused about the Alan Moore tweet. You called me a coward. I went on JD's stream with you. I explained it then. You have a goldfish memory because you don't remember any of that stuff where I thoroughly explained my thought process. I've explained it to you multiple times in DMs.
I learned the
on
genre
Twitter,
thing today, though.
in DMs on Twitter. All you do is just straw man and just try to make drama. And then here I am once again talking about the same GD tweet that I made a year and a half ago. And I think, and I'm sorry, Tyler, that you're not going to like this. I think you're just very insecure and you feel personally attacked by this thing, which again is a
Not.
critique on Kickstarter. So if you feel personally slighted, you have to work on that on your own time.
Dude, I'm not the one that sounds that they're mad that their book, like Tony, your books are doing fine. Your books are doing.
I'm not talking about
doing
my
great.
books. The frustration came from seeing creators like Nandor who are 100% gonna be writing Spider-Man. 100%. I look at Nandor. I talk to Nandor. He's got the right mindset, the right fundamentals. The books that he makes now are very promising. The stuff he'll make in his 30s, I'm very excited to see. But this idea that oh well, it's great, so it'll just float to the top. It's delusional. It's a lie. It's you're sitting there acting like you're
That is a
acting
lie.
like no. You said on one of your streams that everybody just deserves their place. That's not true. That's not true of the internet. There's so much great art that flies under the radar. I think I was talking to Bancroft or something like that. It was like, if you want to go find like a truly great book, it's like, it feels like most times it's like finding a needle in the haystack. And when I go on Kickstarter, when I'm running a campaign, yes, I'm doing fine. Yes, I understand that. But I'm also looking at other creators and I'm like, but that's a great idea. And they're asking prices very low. That seems reasonable. Why is this amazing looking book with a solid price point and the $2,000 goal like a buzzer beater on the final hours? And it's just really reductive and insulting to a great number of creators to suggest that in 2025 they don't do mailing lists, they don't do paid marketing, they don't try to build themselves on a social media platform of choice, because they do. And in spite of all of that hard work, they're still buried under all of this internet
It's not enough
noise.
people like it. Not enough people want it, Tony.
That's not
Like-
true, Tyler.
Well,
That's
I
not
think,
true.
Well, if it's
Tyler.
true, why are they struggling to get funding if they're posting every day if they're posting every single day and they can't find, dude, if you are doing something for like 4 or 5 years and you still can't fund a $2,000 funding campaign, that is you are bad at marketing. You are doing a bad job, and you're not, and I'm not saying your book isn't good. You're doing a bad job of selling like people to get in. Like if you are in 5 years of doing any comics,
you don't know that. You don't know that.
I think that like if you're looking at it from that perspective, I mean, just look at what's happening now on current comic book shelves. Like right now, I think what Tony you're trying to get at is what Marvel and DC used to do back then, which was have a good editor who would go and look at all the books that are happening now and pick and choose. Oh, I see that this guy has talent. Let's go put him on this book because I think he'll grow very well here. And let's put this guy on this book because I think he'll grow very well here. I think, and me as like a comic book reader, outside perspective, we look at the wall of new comic books. Sometimes there's diamonds in the rough there that you pick it up and like, oh man, this is great. But other times there's a lot of like X-Men books everywhere, and like majority of them are all pretty, subpar. And so I think, Tony, what you're trying to get at is that you're advocating that Kickstarter be the Jim Shooter editor and go through all the books and see, okay, hey, this book is pretty good because the artist here looks, good. It's maybe not have the best amount of backers, but we should go and put that up on the tier list. And while Tyler's saying, well, that's not Kickstarter's responsibility to go and see, be the Jim Shooter and pick and choose everybody's books. Has Kickstarter
by the way, Kyle,
ever?
I don't like.
Yeah, go
by the
ahead.
way, I don't like that. I don't like that. This whole marketing thing. By the way, like I run a marketing business. I've been in marketing for the last 10 years. I only got into marketing because I got dropped by my comics publisher because they went out of business, and I went, wow, this was selling like 200 copies every 2 months. And I don't have an email list. I don't have anything. I've got to start learning how to do marketing, got a job in marketing. And eventually now, like I run a marketing company. I don't like that. I don't like that when I worked for a book publisher for 5 years and we would have to read the submissions, that I would know that the influencer with 100,000 followers was going to sell more books than the book that we just got done reading, where I'm like, this is a great topic. This was really well written. And I'm going to try to market the fuck out of it. But I just know that the influencer is going to sell more. I just know. And it's one of those things where like, I don't like it, but that's just how the way the world works now. And I'm not trying to be like all like romanticized of like, oh, well, back then I'm not in back then. I'm in 2025 where I have to sell myself and be like, hey, this is my project. This is why I really believe in it. And this is why I want you to come on board. And if you haven't figured out how to do that and to get people to love your work so much that they keep on following, and you do that for 5 years and you still can't crack $2,000 in funding, then that's on you. It's not Kickstarter. Kickstarter's not a publisher. Kickstarter doesn't have employees that are going to sift. This is the ones that we choose. If you want that, go work with a publisher.
But
And
see,
it sucks,
Tony's
by the
not
way.
saying, but hold on. Tony's not saying that though. He's not saying that Kickstarter should act like a publisher to promote and market your books. He's just simply saying it'd be nice to have a little boost if they're, like you said, a committee that works at Kickstarter. They're one day
Who's the
looking at,
committee?
let's look at the low tier books. Let's look at the books that are struggling that we feel is worth more eyes. He's just asking for a little boost up. That's what it sounds like.
And then at that point, you have to go, who's in charge of these people? Because now here's the thing. Now you've got people who are going, hey, my book is good, and how come that committee isn't choosing my book? Like who? I remember talking to Web. I remember I got it to do. I was going to be part of Webtoon's marketing program. And I got to have a Zoom call with their head of marketing, and the goal was to like market their Webtoon originals. And I was like, hey, can you ask me like a real quick question? How does like Webtoon Canvas, the indie side of Webtoons, how do you guys pick who to promote? because it's all slice of life romance books. And they were like, oh, well, it's these 4 girls that run the Canvas promotions and they read all the new ones every day. So it's just whatever they like. And so like, even if you're like, well, I want to do a webtoon, I want to be a superhero, and you can have the best superhero webtoon comic. It's not getting promoted in Webtoon Canvas despite the quality, because you're under the review of these 4 girls who are in charge of that side of the platform, and they're reading, go, I like this one, promote it. I like this one, promote it. So like, is that how you want Kickstarter to go? Where like maybe
it may not be that way. I guess that's also his point too. It may not be that way. He's just the way. Okay, I'll just tell you how I took the tweet when I read it. I just took it as someone who just wanted to share an opinion, and that was it. That was the end of it.
100%. You know what I love about opinions is you can react to an opinion.
Well, of course, yeah, that's true too.
You can also straw man them if you don't like that opinion.
I don't like. I mean, I don't like your opinion. Can I not say I don't like your opinion? Here's my counter opinion.
Yeah, but don't turn the creator into Charles Manson.
I didn't turn it.
You did.
To be okay, hold on. To be fair, Tyler, I did see some of those threads, and yeah, some people kind of went way too far in the reactions as to reacting to Tony's reaction after the.
But you know what, Julius, is that I can look back on that thread, and all you see is me asking questions, and it's all deleted history, because no one can at this point say, what did Tony say?
Oh my God, Tyler!
It's all
enough.
It's all
with
deleted.
The deleted
So,
tweets. I'm sorry. Can I just speak to this deleted tweets thing, because he's just never going to get off of it. It's not worth anything. It's not worth anything. You deleted your stream, and you deleted your whole channel one year, and you don't even talk about that. You deleted.
I was trying to.
You nuked your whole channel because you wanted to reframe your image, but the problem is that if anybody brings up stuff that I said, Stokey had a whole tweet of my stuff, and I wasn't sitting there going like, I never said that. Like, okay, whatever. Like I think what you're missing from the deleting of the tweets is that I'm trying to push away from you, because you're kind of a cement brick to creators who want to like be in the mainstream and like and actually like kind of adhere to a consistent level of professionalism, because it's like, you are not professional. And what you do is you draw out unprofessionalism from a lot of creators, not just me, plenty of creators. So I'm sorry that deleting the tweets hurts your feelings, but I don't lose any sleep on it. It's not a gotcha. You can continue to keep bringing it up, but I'm telling you, it's just an insult for your own vanity.
I personally, I just like to bring it up because it's always easy. Like I always just say like, hey,
I'm straw man me, and that's just part of it.
Well, Tony, don't like. Well, here's one thing. Like, I did set up this stream, Julius. I will confirm with that, because I messaged you. I was like, yo, dude, like, I want to talk about this comic. I really disagree with it. But I mean, like, Tony, like, you can get away from me just fine. You have me blocked. You still retweet my stuff. You still come into my DMs. Like, ultimately,
the creator who cried DM.
And I mean, I'm not the one coming in your DMs. I think what's good though about having these conversations, even though like in the there's like what we hope to take out of it is ultimately like you're gonna agree with what you're saying. I'm gonna agree with what I'm saying. The viewers will have to come to terms of like what they're gonna want to do, because you are someone who wants to work in the mainstream one day. I don't. I've got no. I haven't had that desire for like 4 or 5 years.
It's not a choice for you, Tyler. You don't have the talent for it. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. I don't tell you.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. Shots fired here.
It's just, you saying that you're a hobbyist. It's like, it's your out. It's the only option afforded.
But I don't, and I think maybe that's where we come because the thing is like, I really don't like, people don't get it. Like, I really don't want, I just like making comics, and I like telling stories. Like that's it.
Here's the solution. Both of you make a comic book and then put it on Kickstarter and then see how well it does.
Well, honestly,
I would love that. I would love that. Just
both of you guys combine and make a comic book together.
Oh, together.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tony writes it and Tyler draws it.
I said on the stream last time, like Superman, I work alone. I'm not interested. And also, if I'm gonna work with an artist that you guys know, it'll be Narwhal way before that. It's gonna be Tyler.
As if
Ooh,
you
that'd
think
be
Narwhal
interesting,
would work
Narwhal.
with you, man. Which, by the way, congrats,
Narwhal
Narwhal.
and I built a pretty good rapport when I was on Vaughn Coleman stream. So well,
That's
when he
good.
gets
Go
freed
build
up by the Mark
rapports.
Miller stuff.
Sounds good.
But I think
mean,
going back to what we were talking about, to at least get some more common ground. I think Tony, you can agree, and Tyler, you kind of both agreed on that. Kickstarter, well, it maybe not have the committee aspect of it, but it itself could help a little bit by pushing in different categories of the genres.
there are
and
yes,
different
there are
things like that.
elements. There are elements. It could definitely do the genres. Like you can, I want action, superhero, comedy, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And Kickstarter is not like it's end all be all for comic book creating and stuff like that. It's like it is a platform for you. It may not be the best platform ever made, but it doesn't mean that it's also the worst platform ever made.
Well, Kyle, that brings me to like something that I really believe in is that a lot of indie creators, I'm not saying it's Tony, but there's a lot of indie creators who like think like Kickstarter is like the end all be all, and it's because of how like the community views Kickstarter. Like, oh, I only got this funding, it's only this good. Like, I honestly view Kickstarter as just like it's a good stepping stone for like what you
think Tony views Kickstarter as the be all end all?
No, I said I'm not saying Tony believes this.
Okay.
There are a lot of creators who look at Kickstarter as like the end all be all. Who are like, what do you mean who?
Well, I've been in the space like you're just saying this like this vague.
I've been in this, like, Tony. I've been in this space for like 10 years. I've interviewed
but that's because but there's a difference between speculation and fact, and you're offering speculation. Just like when I see creators, just like when I see creators arguing about like they wasted the money, they're not spending the money. It's like unless you have the Excel spreadsheets in front of you, you have no idea what a creator spent, where the money went. It's just speculation that you're trying to pass off as facts.
Okay. How's this, Tony? I believe that there are creators who look at Kickstarter as the end all be all, and they don't see like what they can do after with the Kickstarter, how they can continue the sale of that book, all the different platforms that they could launch afterward. Like, how's that?
Okay, well, at least you're owning to the speculative part of it.
There you go. I mean, it's all speculative. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get that DC
common
Comics
ground.
gig. Maybe I'll get that DC Comics gig.
Yeah, exactly. B.R. Turner. Which, by the way, Tyler said that he wasn't a real comic creator, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
Not. I'm waiting to see BA's comics. So,
well,
Wait, you said B.A. Turner's not a comic book creator?
Well, Tyler was upset a week ago. Tyler was upset a week ago because I called him a tourist. Spoilers, it was me that called him a tourist.
I got called a tourist like 2 days ago by someone. It pisses me off.
And he was very upset because it seems like Tyler wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to be seen as this hobbyist. That way he can be deflected from having his work.
You can be a hobbyist in making comics, but like to be called a tourist in comics.
Tyler, it's a double-edged sword. If you want to be called a hobbyist, there are some concessions that you make with that.
There's some objective lists that you have to hit, right? Like in order to be considered a true comic fan.
Yes, it's called objective reality.
Which is what? No. Lay it out, Tony.
Tyler.
You gotta know what ASM number.
Seriously.
This is like a big number one.
Exactly. No, Tony, like list out like what do I need to do to not be a tourist?
Well, I mean, the issue that I have with you largely is that you treat the medium and the business with unrelenting frivolity. Like you are sitting there going like, I'm a hobbyist, therefore you cannot uphold me to any sort of standard. My own standard is my own standard. Boom, that's it. But you seem to want that the tourist thing really seems to get you because it seems like you also want to be taken seriously as a creator. So you can't really have it both ways.
Are you sorry? Are you like, see, this is like, you're really bad explaining things. Are you calling me a tourist in the creator sense or like a reader, like a fan of the comics?
Well, both. I mean, you think it's Neil Gaiman. It's Neil Gaiman.
Okay, so like, fuck me. I don't know how to like pronounce like people's names.
Okay,
I thought it was Mark Millar for the longest.
You see, but you fucking tourist. Like that's what.
Well, that one's a more like touch and go thing. I'll give you that. I'll give you the Mark Millar thing.
We got confirmation from her last week when he was on the show that it was Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
It is actually Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay,
but-
so I
but
pronounce
Tyler-
names wrong.
Tyler,
What else?
Tyler, the mispronouncing of the names, it's not the thing that makes me call you a Taurus. It's a symptom of a larger problem. It's on
Which
top
is?
of on top of the reason that you get to have such a silly goose time and why you and a couple
I
of your
do.
friends are like, why is nobody having fun anymore? Is because you come from it from a pretty from a place of privilege. You don't have to measure your stuff to any sort of standard of quality. Boom. You're just you and your group of people that want to pay for that thing. That's it. And
That
I
upset you?
just think you don't have any real respect for the medium, respect for the business in a way that I have met countless creators, both on Twitter and real life. You stand apart from the rest of them. That's why the first time I got off the stream with JD with you, I got DMs just blowing up, going like, "That guy's not one of us. That guy's weird. That guy seems
one
out
of
of
one of us.
because you're raising a lot of
The
red
fun
flags."
police.
And Tyler, as time has gone on and the year change of knowing your existence, I know you don't like it, but it is my opinion. It's giving Taurus.
That's fine. I mean, I buy comics, and graphic novels like
Well,
every
you
single
strike
month.
me
I
as the
read 'em.
guy who will pick up a trade, not so much because he's interested in reading it, but because he can put it on his little clout wall behind him.
Wow.
Hey,
Yes.
you know,
that's-
Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
am-
Whoa, dude.
So,
look at that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
all
cute.
this stuff here.
That
you
was
know,
yeah, that was cute.
But yeah, but Kyle, you're a serious comic book
That was
reader.
cute. I
Man,
think
I'm so
I
serious.
you know what though, we'll go into what I will agree then. I'll give you this, not on the tourist thing, because I don't want anyone to know what I'm buying on the shelf. I did buy Batman Dylan Dog the other day, which was really good. I will say in a creator tourist, I don't like a lot of creators. I don't like the mentality that they have. I do push back on it, but I do push back, and I think because probably the group that you are around, Tony, like they're like, I have to act a certain way and do this thing because I'm trying to get into the mainstream, which is totally fine. I personally,
They come from all different backgrounds, man.
no, what I'm saying is like I don't want to go on the mainstream. I'm just here to have fun. And the moment that this stops being fun for me, Tony, I stop making comics.
But that is indicative of your tourism. I think most serious creators do not look at it as something that they are ready to throw away at a moment's notice. It's I remember that episode of Seinfeld. I'm asking Julius if he remembers it because he might be the only one. But it was like
I
it
love
was the parking episode where they're arguing over parking spaces. And one guy says, I'll sleep in my car if I'll have to. And then George goes, I'll die out here. And I feel,
Yeah.
and I feel like Tyler is the like, I'll sleep in my car if I have
But I'm not.
to.
But Tony,
When
you're
a
right. I'm
majority
not.
of creators are the I'll die out here because,
you know what? Do it.
It means more to them than just some casual hobby. Listen, if you just want to be like I want to say filthy casual. That's what gamers call casual gamers. If you just want to do that and just kind of like make the books you want to make, and hey, don't judge me on Saw. I'm just kind of making this as a hobby. I think you get a lot less flack. I think the problem that you run into, Tyler, is that you're kind of a contradiction. Like you want to leave me alone. I'm just this amateurist hobbyist, but then you want to be seen as the guy with valuable knowledge and insight in how to be successful in indie comics. And I just don't think you can have it both ways.
I don't know why I can't, because I can say I'm a hobbyist.
Because it's
but-
delusional.
Hold on, Tony. I can say that. I can say like I can say, yeah, I just want to be a hobby. Like, and by the way, Tony, like up until like 2023, my goal, I was posting like I want to do this full time. I want to do indie comics full time. Like that was a goal. And in 2023, when I did it full time, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I definitely don't want to do this. And I'd rather put my skills to something else, but I can still like give out value, and I can still give out value and tips that could be helpful to someone who does want to do that, even as a hobbyist.
Well, sure. If you learn some stuff along the way and you want to share your anecdotes of stuff that worked for you, there's no issue with that. The problem is that you want to have a dual presentation for Tyler Carpenter. I am the amateur hobbyist, but also come to Draw and Talk for learning how to be successful in indie comics. And one of my favorite Batman episodes, animated series, asks the question that I will now ask to you, Tyler. If you're so smart, why aren't you rich?
No, that's great. Because this is what, and I had to tell someone this last night. I couldn't crack like indie comics or just comics in general. entertainment in general. 0.0.1% of people are going to be millionaires. 1% of people are going to have like be in the 6-figure range.
Where are you getting these percentages?
Where am I getting these percentages? Well, one, OnlyFans. Two, if you laugh, Kyle, you laughed. I was waiting to see who laughed to get that 0.1%. From what I saw when I was working in the publisher, and I met with people, I met with a bunch of fantasy, like I met with Tor. I met with Scholastic, and we're just going through the numbers of like who's making a living on this stuff. It's just it's a dog dog world when it comes to entertainment. And you are always, what I learned is you are only as good as the last thing that you put out. And so what happened was I was like, you know what, I don't want this. I want a consistent revenue stream, and I want to be able to take my skills that I've learned in marketing and put it into a place that has a consistent revenue stream. So that's why I built my own business. So you're right, Tony, I'm not rich in comics, but I still learned enough along the way that I can go, hey, like amateur person who's just like me, here's some things that I learned that it took me 10 years to learn. You should just start doing it now, because if I had known this 10 years, I might be in a different spot. And I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is with that.
Well, and then like to that.
By the way, and I don't talk about my I don't talk about my finances of like my business outlet.
No, but you're very concerned about other people's finances.
But like going along with that, you know, like you made the mention though that like even if you're a hobbyist, you know, don't need to be a comic book creator and stuff like that. Well, I mean, just look at Julius and I. Like, at least for me, I mean, I'm a semi-novice in the comic books and stuff like that. But, you know, I read comic books like everybody else, and I have my opinions. And I'm lucky enough that I am able to give out, you know, some of my opinions as just a regular comic book.
You weren't there, reader. Kyle, in the image.
I know I wasn't.
You
there
weren't there
in
on the
90s,
ground floor. You can't talk about comics.
90s.
I mean,
but like, you know. There's people that like, you know, my opinion, and then that's also how we have the dual relationship between me and Julius, where he is able to give his more experience,
his wisdom. But that's how I see that's how I've seen like myself is like when I was trying to do this, I would like, I learned something new. Let me share it, and this could maybe accelerate someone else. And now, maybe I do get to you know, make my cake and eat it, or whatever that phrase is, because I'm like having a brain.
Have your cake and eat it too.
Have your cake and eat it, because as a hobbyist, I can still put up like 5-figure campaigns, and it's just the stuff that I learned. Now, am I gonna grow out of that? Am I ever gonna do bigger numbers or ever hit? No, I'm probably gonna start like diminishing. Like that's probably just gonna what's happened as I slowly like stop doing comics. But I can still teach someone the stuff that I've learned that could help them, and I don't see a problem with that.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you talk forever. Tyler, it's not about you sharing anecdotes to stuff that there's stuff I read in writing books all the time that I'm like, that could help a random person. It's about how you present yourself. If you are a casual gamer, and you want to tell me how to, you know, get over 20K in Balatro, no problem. I'll listen to you. No questions asked. But if you then said, well, let me tell you how to make the best tank build in Elden Ring. Well, hold on there. Like that's not your area expertise. And Tyler, it's a way that you try to present yourself. Like, again, like I just said, if you're just a hobbyist that wants to throw out an anecdote about something you learn, who cares? But you present yourself as the guy with valuable information.
I do have valuable information.
No, you don't. What you preach, because I saw your stream with your little friend the other day. What you want creators to do is forego artistic integrity, play to the lowest common denominator, sell the cheapest book so that you can turn around and go, I was killing it on that last campaign.
I'm just saying, if like maybe
now Tyler, if a creator's out there and they're sitting there like, but that's what I want. I want to throw out artistic integrity and play the lowest card, then Tyler's your guy. Well, I mean, I don't know if Tyler would be a guy because he's not very good at that, but at least it would make more sense for you to check him out.
I love I love all this stabs, by the way.
Okay.
He doesn't like when I describe things entirely accurately.
I mean, for someone who's like not, I mean, I remember Tony sent me a DM saying like, Tyler, you're just jealous of Star Noir. And I was like, Tony, what am I jealous at? Am I jealous at your backer numbers? No. Your money? No. The genre of book that I don't like? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
Jealous of his mustache.
that's what I am. Yeah. Exactly.
Here comes the mean girl stuff about like the metrics and stuff. See, Tyler, I knew that you were jealous of the. By the way, I don't think everybody's jealous.
I'm not jealous of your book, Tony, but I'd love to hear this.
See, when he laughs like that fake laugh.
No,
that
I'm
means
ready.
that means I'm on the money.
Seriously, why am I jealous of your book?
When he does that forced laugh, that means I'm on the money.
I'm ready, Tony. Why am I jealous of your book? It's organic stuff, even though you like. You know, you also have used into paid advertising. Tell me, Tony, why am I jealous of your book?
The details of your actions tell the larger picture of. You see, he doesn't want me to keep going.
Keep going.
So let him say his point, Tyler.
I'll mute myself.
I'll set it up with a pop culture reference. Okay, there was an episode of Breaking Bad, which Kyle, I know you've definitely seen, right?
I've seen all the Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there was an episode where they brought a blindfolded man to Jesse and they said, "Hey, tell us what we want to know or we're going to kill this guy." And Jesse said very calmly, "I know you're not going to kill him. Do you want to know why? Because you wouldn't have bothered to blindfold him." Tyler, when we were in our initial beef, he decided to use real Star Noir art to push drama. And then when he had the opportunity to correct it, he wanted to create a character of me. But did you just create a character of me, Tyler?
No, dude. I have you holding that fucking book, man.
That's what he's really upset about. He checks under his bed for Star Noir.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? That's the cutest thing I've ever heard, Tony.
That's weird. So I don't. And by the way, just to kind of clarify, I don't think everybody's jealous of the book. I would put all my chips forward that Tyler's jealous of the book.
I love it. I mean, I would have backed
I'm jealous
it.
of the book.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't have any books to show for myself.
I mean, the numbers you got in your last campaign, Tony, I'm a little envious of it because I wish I had those for mine.
Well, hey, maybe we can get Kickstarter to like.
Hold on. Let me just I've been quiet listening to both sides here, and I just want to say that to both of your points. Tyler, on occasion, you have provided some good information. I don't agree with all of it, however, but there are some tidbits where I'm like, you know what, that's actually a good point, and maybe I should take that and put it in my back pocket and save it for later, for down the line when I do my own campaign. And so I feel like you do, but to Tony's point as well, it's not all good, but you still, the fact that you are willingly giving it, that's a great thing to do. Especially if you if someone can say, oh well, you really are not really quote unquote successul. The fact is the information can still be good, even if it's.
I'm just saying stuff that I believe in, like
right.
Like it could be like I was talking with someone, my employee. We were editing a video, and he's like, I was like, you need to do the first 30 seconds. It has to be like this.
Thanks, Ben.
And he's like, no, I think the first 30 seconds of the video needs to be this. And we both had like these reasons of like why. And he's like, I'm sticking to what I believe in. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm just throwing out my opinions of like what has worked for me. In the fact, you do what works for you. And like that's how you have to take information. I can post something and someone can go, nah, F that. I posted something. I posted on saying, hey, you need to utilize an email list. And I had a creator going, fuck that. You don't need an email list. You just use Kickstarter's messaging platform. I'm like, all right, like that's fine. Just do what you want to do. Like, just it's okay to give information. If people want to take it. And if not, it's all good.
But not when you're.
So you don't like that I'm doing it, Tony?
No, I don't.
You don't like that I'm in the space? Like what? Like
he's not saying that, Tyler. Come on. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, this is the straw man that I talk about. This is like when I go away in the cave. When I go away in the cave and I make the book, Tyler's on Twitter saying Tony's basically Charles Manson. Blah, 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 blah. And I sit there and I just kind of like, I don't have the time to go down to Twitter and correct all this bullshit.
So Tony, it's okay for me to say the opinion, except what?
Oh, you present yourself as the guy in the know. And I think that's the issue that you run into, because again, just stop saying you're a hobbyist then. Just stop.
That's
If you want to be the guy in the know, be the guy in the know.
That's a personal problem then to the person who's receiving the information. That's a personal problem.
Cool. That's just victim blaming. Very nice.
Oh.
So
Victim blaming. He told me to use an email list. Like, I'm a victim. Like, dude.
yeah, but you're blaming the person getting in the information, not how you're delivering. You just corrected me about how to like deliver information and saying the opinion better. So Tyler,
Some
say
people
the opinion's better.
Some people can. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I should. Like, people have said, Tyler, you say it more aggressively, and it's because that's how I learn. Some people like to be learning a different way. I like to be told, you're wrong. Fuck you. This is how you do it. That's like how I learn, and so that's how
psychotic, and
that's
you
how it
shouldn't
works.
do that to any creator.
Well, I mean, I do that
What the
to
fuck is,
Julius
like-
all
like-
the time when I review his books. I mean, let's be fair here.
I'm not here. Like, I mean, I say what I say my piece. I say my piece. I believe it. And if someone's like, you should have said it nicer, it's like, just look at the information. I'm sorry that you didn't like how I said it. That's just who I am, and who you are is who you are. And like, yeah, is that victim blaming? Yeah, sure.
You see, folks, he admits it. He admits to the things that he does.
I'm not gonna apologize for saying I said to get an email list, and the way I said it hurt someone's feelings. Like,
Well, Tyler, you've never apologized for anything in your life.
I apologize to a lot of people, dude.
Where?
I've apologized.
Men.
I've apologized to like almost every creator that like I've had a beef with, where I'm like, I was definitely in the wrong. I don't
Really? 'Cause
apologize to
the only
you.
time I've seen you talk about creators is when hashtag comics broke you and you trashed everybody under the sun.
And you know what? I totally believed what I said.
And you didn't? Did you apologize to those creators?
Why would I apologize when I believed it? What I 100% what I said.
Because you don't. Because you do not understand accountability, man. You're just like immune to it.
I said what I said.
I know. You just
I
own, you just own your toxicity. It's great.
All I said in Comics Broke Me was like, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't maybe you shouldn't agree on shitty deals.
You made fun of a creator for posting that they were looking for work.
What are you talking about?
Tyler, I'm sorry I don't have the timestamps, but it's in there. If anybody wants to go watch the hashtag comics broke stream,
well, if you're gonna say like, oh, Tyler did something, then like throw it out.
well, go look on your own time. Do homework. I listen. This is the thing about like this is the thing about the truth. I don't have to like.
Come on, man. Like that's so
No.
hypocritical.
This is the thing about the truth. Can I say my point?
No,
This
go
is
ahead,
the
go
thing-
ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
This is the thing about the truth. I don't have to put together a book report. If you want to believe the delusion, more power to you.
Here's Tony. I didn't say that. I immediately pull up here. So like,
Well,
come on.
because Tyler, I'm not nearly as obsessed with you to have timestamps.
I literally just was like, well, I brought it because I understood that this premise was going to be about like the whole Kickstarter thing. So I just wanted to like build out my premise like off of what you said. I wanted to make sure I had it right.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
that's why I had it up, because I wanted to make sure I had it.
Well,
word
I'm
for
sorry.
word.
I couldn't foresee that I would be bringing up the hashtag comics broke me stream.
I don't know why you are. I don't know what
Next
how to do with
time.
this.
Well, because I wanted more insight into who I was debating. And what I found was quite shocking. Somebody who will blame everybody but themselves is entirely vindictive, toxic. They blame they go, oh, hey, you did this to me. I'm going to use my platform to destroy you.
Are we talking about
Sorry,
how
man.
Comics Broke Me?
Sorry, man. It's just
Wait,
you know,
what are we talking
it's
about?
a pattern of behavior. It's just giving vindictive tourist.
All right, well,
And I'm not trying to convince you or your fans, but that is how I feel, and
That's good.
that's what your actions tell me.
oh, that's fine. I mean, I don't think I've tried to put out any personal jabs on you or whatnot. today.
Except that one major one where you were in your feelings for 80 minutes.
But,
I don't know the
all right,
context of
so
that
I
one.
think
No one does Julius. No one does Julius. But the Comics Broke Me thing goes really like it ties. Look at this. I'll tie it all back. It ties back to the Kickstarter thing where I'm very big into like the accountability of a creator's success. I believe really relies on themselves. So when someone's like, I should have been funded, it's like, well, no, that sounds very entitled. You could have done more, because my stance on everything is I don't want to rely on anything else, on anyone else. I want to be the one who's in control of the success. So if you're not going to help me, I'm going to help myself. 100%. Same thing with the comics broke me thing. Like I said, you know, that everyone that the people affected, they're complaining is just because they made bad business deals. And like it was like there wasn't a gun to their head that said you should take a $25 page rate.
But you don't know the
Okay, now
situation.
it's coming back to me now.
Yeah, it's like you knew
for a while
like,
there. I wasn't sure.
Oh no, you're good. Well,
I remember that, but
if
now,
you're like
now it's
I
coming
can't
back to
pay
me.
my rent in comics, it's like then why did you agree to the page rate? Now then you can have a discussion on like we need to
Such
raise
a wild
prices.
Stance.
What to say that like there wasn't like there was no gun to your head.
Here's the thing, Tyler. That came off very. I remember that now. It came off very, I guess, mean spirited.
Well, what happened? What happened was there was 3 levels to it. There was the guy that killed himself, which like I didn't know about. Like there was that layer, and everyone's talking about hashtag comics broke me. And then people were talking about, oh, and the reason why he killed himself is because he was overworked. And then the next level was then other people going, yeah, I've been also overworked and blah blah. And then the next level was then like talking about page rates and like the business. That's where I read it. That's when I start seeing. I'm not seeing the dead guy tweets. I'm seeing the like, oh, like they only paid me $20 to do line art for like this comic, and I'm in the bathroom at my job just going like, why the fuck did you take that deal? That's your fault. Blah, blah,
Comedian
blah.
WW's got a good
And
point.
yeah.
I agree that no one's entitled to funding, but Tyler sees this from a marketing and business standpoint more than as an artist. I think that's what rubs Tony the wrong way. The person who committed suicide, that was Jason Pearson. Is that who you're referring to?
I don't remember. He was like an Oni artist.
But yeah, going back to a
Why would you
comedian
bother to find out?
Is that true, Tony?
Yeah.
Is there some truth to that?
And I think that's why Tyler and I will never get along, because we are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Like he wants to lead with the marketing and call it product. I want to lead with the story and call it a book for a reader, not a customer. Customer is implied. Of course, you're a customer, but your main function is not to be a customer.
It's to be a reader, a lifelong reader.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to push back on that. Is I believe in my stories, but I also know that I need to market. That's why I push. That's like people are, I'll only focus on the marketing. I want people to believe in my stories and like them. Therefore, I've got to get in front of them. Otherwise, they're not going to read my stories. They're not even going to know they exist. And so that's why I see it from that. There is probably someone in some random country in the middle of fucking nowhere who's the best violinist in the whole world.
Yeah.
They will never get a shot because no one knows their name or what they're doing or their skill set. So that's my thing. That's my thing. It's just like, so if you are that good, just start marketing. You just got to market yourself. You just got to get attention is the currency. You need to get attention. And then,
but do you drama farm for that attention? Because that's what not most, but some comic book creators today in the indie scene do to get eyes on their books.
I think stuff like, for example, I think knowing what drama farming is, I think disagreeing with someone on opinion is like, that's not drama farming. And then I think when it gets personal, like then when it's stuff like with me and Tony, I'll 100% agree. Like that will then become drama farming. Or then I just, today I'm going to attack this creator for no reason. I think that's drama farming, but I don't think there's any problem with saying, I hear this person have this opinion and I'm going to react to it and just give my opinion, because ultimately then you have people go, oh, I actually think that's a good opinion or side of things. And then, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. If someone gets offended by that, like, oh, like you dissed my opinion, then to me, the next stage is let's bring those two opinions together and see how they do. And maybe there's a Venn diagram where there are some points that they meet in the middle, and then ultimately then the audience can then go, I like this opinion, I like parts of this opinion, I either like this person, I like this, I don't like this person, and that's okay. But attention is the game. I mean, you can post like, what's up with this Mary Jane panel and get 1 million views, and if you know how to turn that view into then getting in backers, like what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Speaking of Mary Jane, did you guys see that Mary Jane is now Venom for some reason? I mean, like, That is weird. See, Eric the Guapo says discussing opinions is fine, but hypercritically and logically fallacious is not. Tony, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I don't know. Tyler, he likes to kind of say a lot but say nothing at the same time. So I kind of like fade in and out for when he talks.
So you can't. So basically, you can't like rebuttal anything, guys.
Well, you have to make a point for me to rebut.
The point that I'm making is that there's nothing wrong with having attention. When that going back to that comment from comedian WW, you're saying that that Tyler only focuses on marketing and business. It's like I want people to read my stories first, but I know I need to get their attention. So I'm gonna get their attention so that they can read my stories.
BA.
Like, I don't see what's wrong with that. That's my personal viewpoint.
Well, because it comes at you sacrifice the quality in at the cost of it. And you're shaking your head, but like your work does really suggest somebody that leads with the marketing foot. And hey,
Tony,
if it happens to be good, it happens to be good. But that's
Tony,
not,
have you ever read my work, by the way?
Yeah, you have plenty of sample pages. And here's the thing with you guys with their sample pages that have that. No. See, here's the thing.
So no,
Tyler. Here's the thing about sample pages. When you guys have lettering, because a lot of you guys you don't put the lettering in, which is a huge red flag for your writing. What are you hiding? But you guys do have enough sample pages for me as a writer person who just has like a shelf full of writing books and comics and just studies that stuff like it's his life. I don't need to see 12 rounds with an amateur boxer. 30 seconds will do it. And exposition is the number one way that will tell you the skill set. You beat people over the head with your exposition. That points to a lack of an understanding of the fundamentals.
are you talking?
And
about
honestly, I'd be happy to read it. But honestly, Tyler, if I gave my honest, objective opinion, I very much doubt you're not going to like it. Even if I'm going in there trying to be real fair, I'll read the entire Girl with the Mega Fist. I don't think you're going to like my critiques.
And that's fine. And and here's the thing: you like critique it, and then I'll go like, that's some good points. I should change it. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting a critique. There's nothing wrong.
That's what.
There's nothing wrong with getting. There's nothing wrong with getting a critique. But like to say like what it sounds like, Tony, and like this is speculative. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is like you're saying like you keep going like I study this, I do this, I know all the fundamentals. You don't, Tyler. Like
it doesn't show in your work.
But like that's so like important to you, that matter of like I do more than you. I do this. I believe in this more than you. You
see, Tyler, again, straw man stuff. You're trying.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I'm not straw man. I'm asking
Tyler,
you.
Well, hold on. You're trying to straw man me again. You're trying to make it seem like I'm saying I'm better than you. And that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that there's a difference between somebody who has a passing interest in story structure and somebody who studies it every single day of their life and practices it. And I can tell from a creator
from
just by looking at a few pages. Are you going to let me answer? Or are you going to talk over me the entire time?
Yeah, let him speak his thought. Go ahead, Tony.
I have seen your work and a number of other creators' work. And when there is writing, when you afford us a glimpse into what the book is like, it's very evident of very amateur writing. And exposition is the number one way that you, Tyler, show me what your skill set is. Because an amateur writer will beat you over the head with exposition dumps. A skilled writer will let you learn as you go and ask questions. When I see your samples, I never get to learn and ask questions. I am just being force-fed information.
Hey,
you have a lack of the fundamentals, and you only recognize that by intensive study and practice over a long period of time.
I just gotta do better then. That's what it sounds like. I just gotta do better. I'm gonna work
or you can just keep doing what you're doing
and work on it.
And just call yourself a hobbyist. Like, who cares? Like, again,
but I mean, like, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I agree. I agree with Samoki, dude.
I was gonna say that, like, look at from my perspective, like, I mean, whenever I review any books, like, I don't have any like background in writing, and like, I'm not I didn't go to school for writing or editing or anything like that, but yet when I give my opinions on books and stuff like that, either to Julius or other creators and stuff like that, are my points invalid because I didn't study any of that?
Well, Kyle, I think you are not approaching it from the writer fundamental standpoint. You're approaching it from the reader standpoint, and over time, you develop what is a good quality story and what's not. Just by reading enough comics, you get to go like, oh, this one's good, this one's bad. Just because you have seen examples of great work and you've seen poor and in the middle, and over time, you get to develop a more I'm gonna say develop twice, but a developed palette for like what is objectively a great comic book.
Does it? So then, like, and it's thing, like, you know, I can agree that, you know, I'm not the best writer. I can 100% agree to that. I'll never say that I'm not giving out writing tips. I'm just giving out like I'm not gonna write a book on writing or even drawing for that. Say God. But I still believe that. I still believe at the end of the day, like when going back to the objective stuff, I think when it all comes down to it, though, the readers decide what they want. The reader, you could have the best objective quality book, unless the readers want it. Then like unless the readers want it, then like that's how you're gonna see like the quote unquote like the success on it. So yeah, like I can always improve myself. But I can also point the fact that, well, I do get many returning readers on all of my books. So like, I know that I'm doing something right. I just got to keep getting better, you know?
Well, if number of backers is the only thing that matters to you, then get 500 readers and live in that bubble of you're going to create stagnation in quality of the entire way you make comic books, because you only need to be as good as the 500 that you keep. And if you want to branch out, if you want to be bigger than that 500, if you want to like have somebody read Super Plumber Sisters, they don't know who you are. They've never seen a lick of what you do on the internet. They just happen to find this book and be like, this is fucking amazing. You have to like
do more marketing,
your craft. And on top of the marketing, you have to perfect your craft to make a high quality book.
I'm having a great time, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys are, but I am.
Oh yeah, this is what I wanted. I wanted a conversation, and we're getting it. So,
but by the way, Tyler, I like how you're this like marketing guru, and you just discovered lead generation, which is like the 101 of marketing.
No, it was tying in the lead generation to what we were doing at the publishing house. It was putting those two. So like it was shocking that I didn't put the two together. I'm like, oh yeah, like we're just getting leads, because I come from a B2C world, so I'm like, I'm not seeing them as leads, I'm seeing them as customers. And then my business partner is like, no dude, like it's leads, like that's what we were doing. I'm like, oh frick, you're right, because now I'm in the B2B world of things. So
B.A. Turner talking cash shit in the comment section. He's got good ones. I'm just giving B.A. a hard time. I'm joking with you.
Well, I see a lot of, I just like, once again, all that's subjective. Like, what if I enjoy this kind of stuff? Like, I'm going to write the stuff that I enjoy.
But no one's knocking you for that.
Yeah.
Well,
market forces are going to do what market forces do.
Correct. But what I'm saying is like, people like when it's like, oh, what about taking existing? Like, what about it? I like that stuff. Like, what about it? Does that make my book less quality? Does that make my book less good because I have that stuff?
It makes it a bit unoriginal.
So, but what if I like that stuff?
Okay,
what if
that's
I
fine.
Like, yeah,
no one's knocking you for making the stuff you want to make.
Well, sounds like you guys are.
Well,
it isn't very creative or original. Like, well, I would say the creativity thing, like that's a very subjective take.
Yeah, it's very subjective. But going back to, it sounds like you still are kind of hung up on the objective and subjective thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just stuff that has to be agreed. Like, if you're gonna do objective,
of course, of course. But at the end of the day, when people like us, creators who make books, we're putting our stuff out there. We're sending signals out to people like Kyle, who are just readers, like strictly just readers, to entertain and hopefully we can hold on to their attention when they open our book.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, that's always in the fall in the line of subjectivity, because the consumer or the reader, they don't know the fundamentals of storytelling like Tony and you and myself may know. And so, but us three, right? We could share each other's books, and Tony can tell me, you know what, Julius, page 15, it's not working, man. And he can explain to me why it's not working, as opposed to Kyle. Kyle may say, yeah, you know, I didn't really like page 15 because it sucked.
Right.
But that's fine.
That's
you
my
know, because-
opinion as a
sure.
reader.
For sure.
Or it may be the opposite. I kind of like page 15 was great, but in reality, it's like, well, he doesn't know any better. Like Tony said, his palate may not be developed enough where he can recognize it's something that didn't work in the book.
And
I
trust
think
me, I don't know all be all end all of all comics.
My
But
edit,
you know a fair amount to make a very reputable opinion about it, Kyle. So I wouldn't undersell your opinions on comics.
Kyle, if you either like it or you don't, man. You just be like, I like this. Just share the comics that you like, man.
Oh, there's a ton of comic books that like.
Oh, he doesn't. He's not shy about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
He's
And I
not
think,
shy. That's why he's my co-host, because I needed someone like that to really let it be known, because I think that's important for growth.
Yeah,
for
and
growth
I've
for
done that
creators
with,
and everything.
I've done that with your books, Julius, too. And
Yeah.
I'm like straight to your face. It's like, oh yeah, this didn't
He
work.
didn't recommend Reset Protocol, you bastard.
I know.
It wasn't worth the pickup for him, but it's all good, you know, because that was a book I wrote a long time ago, and I was stuck with what I had, so I had to make it work.
But then that also, like, elevate, as years went on, you elevated, stepped up your game, went through it, and then also on top of that, you picked up the marketing. You did a lot more marketing than you did before. So
yeah, not enough.
You
though.
did both.
Still not enough.
Yeah,
No,
but
still not
it's
enough.
still...
Maybe to Tyler's standards, it wasn't enough of promotion and marketing.
I mean, I think also and this is something that almost kind of sucks about the internet, is that you have the ability to put out your stuff at whatever level it is, and you can then like you almost grow publicly. Like you put out your first comic, and then people can and like that's good. That's both. There's like positives and negatives to all of that. But
A creator just randomly texted me bitch lemonade.
dude, yeah. I got that card, man. I got that card.
Yeah, that's funny. You should have put that in the chat. You should have told him, well, watch the show. And
Yeah, there's sort of you have some silent watchers. I'll say that, Julius.
Okay, cool. That's all good.
People are watching.
As long as they watch the show and they're enjoying it, they're learning something from it, and we can all, enjoy it. So
we're having a silly goose time. We're having a silly goose time.
Oh yeah.
But okay, well, I don't want to keep you guys. So I think that we could pretty much end it here. I think we got everything, all the points across regarding the Kickstarter thing that pretty much ignited the whole thing, and also the objective and subjective thing, which I always find fascinating, because that was the part that I struggled with the longest as a creator. And then when I finally came to terms with it, I just accepted it for what it is. Objectivity is knowing the rules and all that regarding storytelling, especially comic book storytelling. And the subjectivity is your own preference of what you like and don't like.
I like Crenshaw's comment. I may not know art, but I know what I like.
There you go. Yeah.
I think I think maybe that's a problem, is that like maybe like where Tony and I bash heads, and I'll say it for myself, where these are my speculations, is that Tony does a really good job of like honing his. I'm gonna hone my craft. I'm gonna read all these books. I'm gonna know all these fundamentals, and that he's very passionate about that, and it shows, and which is amazing, for him. And from my point, where I'm like, I know the basic. I'm like, I know the basics of like the story structure thing. Let's see if I can tell a good story. I just want to have fun, and if my readers are having fun, then like, oh yeah, the last one was, but so like, and so I think for me,
when I'm talking, you shut your mouth.
Go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So I was just saying, like, I think with Tony, like, it's great. He's very passionate about writing the fundamentals. I mean, his YouTube channel that he had, when he was posting stuff, was like the story structures of like video games and whatnot, and like he really believes like in that stuff. He's very passionate about that stuff, and me, I'm very passionate about, you know, no secret, like marketing and like the viewer, the reader. So I'm like, if they're having fun and they're buying, I'm doing my job. And that's where we both disagree, because I'm like, oh, I know enough to get the viewer happy.
Can you put that knife down? It's very unsettling.
Sorry,
I'm gonna stab somebody.
And he's just like ready to like, yeah. I'm ready to fight, man.
Yeah.
I listen. I think what I think. I think creators by and large, and I think this is kind of a problem on indie comics Twitter, that I wish more creators would kind of adopt. I think you just got to be more secure in who you are as a creator and what you make. You know, you can say my mustache looks like shit and that Star Noir is a garbage book or nothing burger, as Tyler likes to say. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I'm not going to cry to the internet for that. I mean, I think what every artist needs to do is put their stuff on Reddit, because Reddit doesn't give a fuck. They will take the smallest little minutia and try to bury the whole thing. And any sort of diplomatic pushback, it's like quicksand. Like they just like, this person can't handle criticism. Like,
oh gosh.
But I see a lot of creators just get really defensive. And the Alan Moore tweet, like there were plenty of people who agreed and got it, but for the people that were disagreeing, it really came across as that they personally felt offended. And they wanted to insert themselves into a tweet that's not about them. And I said that on JD Stream right away, and I'll say it again here. It was a critique on Kickstarter. And I think, and you can just kind of apply this to other opinions you'll see of me that you don't like in the future. You just got to develop thicker skin.
I agree. I agree with that.
Word.
For sure.
I think so. That's. I mean, everybody's got to take some sort of criticism and their stuff.
If you're going to be a hobbyist, be a hobbyist. But if you're going to say you're going to be open to critique, be open to critique. You're either going to be open to growth or you're not.
Why not both?
That's a contradiction.
Why can't you be a hobbyist, but also like get some critiques and take it and learn from it?
Well, but Tyler, you don't practice that.
I just said my.
We are moving in a good direction. All right, let's.
There could be a round two if you guys are willing for it, but if not, then we leave it here.
This could be the most viewed live show, and it's just a segment. It's just forever segment.
Yeah.
Forever segment.
Just never leave. We're always going to be here.
That sounds like hell, like a Twilight Zone episode, or rather a Black Mirror episode.
Well, Tyler, we'll do it again. Tyler can bring all his friends. Bring Nicholas Mueller. Bring Travis Gibb. Bring Stokey. Let's just have a free for all.
Oh gosh, that sounds like
despite what you think, Tony. Like I enjoyed having this like open discussion. I don't like pile-ons. That's why on my show I never bring on a panel.
You just like orchestrating pile-ons.
Okay, on that note,
I think both sides had points.
Yeah,
there was at least some common ground that we came to,
and we love that.
And let's continue and let's leave on a happy note. And everybody shake hands. We can agree to disagree on some points.
Well, I'll tell you what they do in hot presidential debates and hot mayoral candidate races when they really don't like each other. The moderator forces the people debating to say at least one nice thing.
Well, Tony, about to get to that.
Let's start with you. Let's start with you.
Tyler, I think that while I don't like the books that you make, and I don't think they're of any kind of like serious standard of quality. I'm getting to the compliment. I'm getting to it. I think that it's great that you are at least pushing for the creators that don't know that they should be marketing their work, because that is ultimately, you shouldn't be relying exclusively on Kickstarter. You should be, building yourself up on all other platforms. Like I do the Writers YouTube channel. Like I'm just very busy with 2 books right now, but I have like a whole list of ideas of like, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. But at the very least, Tyler, you're pushing for creators to market themselves, and I'm not going to turn my nose up at that.
All right, Tyler.
I think I said mine already, where I was just like, I think it's awesome that Tony is very passionate about like writing and the fundamentals, and like very much like, I want to be the best at this and understand it and that quality stuff. And I think there's no one's ever gonna push back on saying that like someone wants to be the best at that writing thing. So yeah, I think that's great. It's always something to learn. Like I said, I pulled up Tony's tweet on my last stream. I was like, objectivity in art, and then I googled it, and I saw something that like a point of view I hadn't heard from, and I was like, all right guys, we're derailing this show because I'm about to read this like 50-page essay on objectivity in art. And so I like that you're able to, you know, come up with your own opinions, and you believe in them. What more do you need from a person?
There you go.
All right,
I will end
no sly stuff from me, guys. Just respect.
I was just setting it up. Good Lord.
No setup.
But
I will say this about both of you. I respect both of you guys' determination for your points of view and standing your ground and defending them, as well as your hard work. Tyler, I see you hustling out there. I see you pushing yourself, and I see you pushing your books. And Tony, the same thing with you. You push your stuff out. And you know, the fact that I got to see Star Noir book 1 go from how much did you raise for book 1?
It was just over 10K.
10K, and then the third one went up to
well, it's actually with the late pledges, it's almost at 16.
So there you go. So that showed growth because of your determination to write a compelling, solid story. And the same thing with you, Tyler. You have there's a lot of fun in your pages from the pages you shared. I have not read any of your books because, again, it's a personal preference. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. Good. But I can at least appreciate the hustle from your end as well as from you, Tony. So I'll say that. Kyle?
I was just say this is a fun time, man.
Kyle's gonna shut off the stream and then go, Jesus Christ.
I was debating going down and get us a bucket of popcorn, just sit here and just start munching on it and enjoying the show. But I think, like I was talking about, we had good points, and hey, Tyler, if you ever want to, you can share the book and we can sit in the hot seat and we can discuss the book. I'd love to review it.
To be fair, Kyle, come on, man, you have to buy the book. That's the rule.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But,
I'll send books. I make enough. I'll send out a free book.
Wait, I gave you guys free Star Noir books, and you were gonna buy them the entire time?
No, I did. I backed it.
You
I
did?
backed it. Yeah, that's
cool.
that's what we reviewed it, because I backed it and I bought it, and I said, okay, let's review this one. So I bought it. So.
JJ, just cut this part out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was great, and I think that both of you guys had great points. I think that in the end of the day, everybody has their opinion on their subjective and objective opinion on things. But in the end of the day, we're comic book lovers. Whether or not you're a hobbyist or you're a serious collector, comic books is just a fun thing to do, whether you're 9 years old or 90 years old. And I think we should always just keep that in the back of our minds. And, at the end of the day, we're here having fun. And remember, every opportunity is a new experience. And as I always say, you need to build those experiences.
Julius, where'd you find this guy?
he fell in my lap.
Where'd you find this?
I know.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining in the conversation as well. We'll see you on the next one. You have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Peace.
Bye, guys.
It was an ordinary night during an ordinary jog when Matt Guerra stepped into his destiny. Using his Jeet Kune Do, Matt teaches would-be violators that the cost of crime is too high for them to afford. But little does Matt know, his act of bravery has run afoul of Los Valientes, Orange County's most notorious street gang. The head of Los Valientes, the mysterious dreamer, decides to make an example out of Matt. And amidst a brutal game of tit-for-tat, where anyone could get caught in the crossfire, Matt Guerra must bring an end to Los Valientes' wave of crime before his loved ones pay the ultimate price for his heroism. Matt Guerra is the Ghetto Dragon.